goodness. Oh my goodness. Thanks, Bo. Appreciate that. Welcome you guys to Workout Wednesday. Appreciate that, Bo. Thank you for letting me know. Workout Wednesday, we are going to be talking about the best workouts to do in a small amount of time that you might have. Everybody's got such busy schedules, and we do what we can, but you cannot leave yourself out of the mix. You have to schedule this time in. So that's why I'm a huge fan of Tabata. Tabata is going to be what we're going to talk about today. So please, let's dive in. I'm Kara Christensen. I'm a professional in health, beauty, and fitness. And my podcast, Behind the Layers, is here to uncover and discover the truths, the facts, the myths, all of the things that involve the health, fitness, and beauty world. So thank you so much for joining me. Welcome. Anybody that's trying to watch on Instagram, I'm not on Instagram today. You have to come over to YouTube or Facebook, and I appreciate you doing that. Today we're talking about the 4-4-4. The 4-4-4 is the 4 minutes a day for 4 days a week for 4 weeks to change your life, and that to change your shape of your body, to change your fitness, to up your game if you're doing the intermittent fasting. We are going to listen to my guy, who I have followed for at least a decade now. He is so informative. He's so good about constantly updating his content when new studies come out. It's a doctor who has been trying to preach the gospel to everybody about living your best life from the inside out, literally from what you're eating to when you're eating. He's the one who introduced me to intermittent fasting. He's been silenced and shut down for so long, especially during COVID, when he was trying to tell people, if you are getting COVID or at risk of COVID, here are the simple things you need to take from deficiencies like vitamin D3 or zinc in your body, the things that you need that you can take to eliminate yourself from that pool of who's at risk to get COVID. So he was silenced. Anytime I would share a video with people, it was immediately shut down. So it's nice that he's able to have a platform and a voice again to hear and talking to you guys. We are going to start out. People don't know what Tabata is, and you might not know what HIIT is, high intensity interval training. So if you're someone who goes to the gym and you're running constantly for 45 minutes, an hour, and you're doing the same repetitive workout all the time, you need to pay attention, because this is going to help level you up with a way less amount of time than you're investing right now, and getting you better, quicker, faster results, which is the world that we all live in, right? So we're going to dive into listening to him talk first about HIIT, and then we'll move into Tabata. But thanks, Bo. Thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Should be, says I am, but maybe it's not. Thank you for checking. It does say I am on this end, so I'm not sure. But anyway, here we go. You're not live on Facebook. That's okay. I'm going to roll through it anyway, buddy. Thank you for checking. I have it on 2 different things right here. Let me see. Which Facebook are you on, Bo? Let's see. Kara Christensen is right here. It says it's on the 2, Kara Christensen. And, it says it's on there. I got it here. Oh, Fit to Be Wild. Yeah. It does say that it's like buffering there. I have no idea what's happening on that one. Let's see what that. Oh, Instagram is the one that I'm not doing. Let's see if that fixed it. I just went on and did a little something. Not quite sure if that did it or not. But let's go ahead and dive in. This is Dr. Berg, and we're first going to talk about HIIT exercise.
Let's talk about the best HIIT, high intensity interval training exercises for maximum fat burning. Okay? Now I'm going to give you examples of lots of high intensity interval training exercises that you can do. And then I'm going to tell you the number 1 exercise that just blows everything else away. But first, let me just explain what HIIT exercises are. It's a super high intensity, short duration type exercise that produces some seriously high growth hormone spike and other benefits. And the cool thing about it is because you're using this high intensity, short duration exercise, you're not going to be doing a tremendous amount of it. So it's a quicker workout, which takes less time for those busy people. But let's just kind of like dissect what exercise really is. You have 4 parts. Okay, you have the duration or time, you have the intensity of the exercise, and then you have the recovery after the exercise, and then you also have how many times you do this specific exercise. How long do you do it? How long do you rest? And then how many repetitions of that are you going to do? So typically when you're doing HIIT or high intensity interval training, you're doing it only for like 30 to 60 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. And then you're resting between 30 seconds or usually like a minute to 5 minutes. And then you're doing this 3 times to 7 times. And then as far as per week, you might do it, I don't know, once or twice or 3 times per week. That's kind of like the pattern. Now, if we take a look at why high intensity interval training works, we want to look at these variables a little bit deeper. Intensity is the key factor in exercise that stimulates muscle growth and also stimulates growth hormone. Okay? Now, if we have a low intensity and high duration, a long period of time of exercise, so let's say you're just jogging down the street over a long period of time. It's not very intense, but you're just jogging for like 45 minutes. You will not stimulate growth hormone near as strong as compared to if you do a short duration, high intensity type workout. Now, the other key thing about this is this recovery part too, because if you don't recover from this intensity, you're not going to see the results nearly as strong as if you did take in consideration the recovery. Now, recovery is an individual thing. Each person has a different ability to recover. And there's a really good test that I'm going to recommend that you do to determine your recovery as one of the cautions, because the last thing you want to do is overtrain yourself and end up hurting yourself. You know, you don't want to do this if you have injuries because it's high intensity. You also don't want to do it if you have poor recovery, and I'm going to show you a good test to figure that out. And you don't want to do it if you have heart problems, because doing this intensity exercise without supervision when you have a heart problem could be an issue. So this is what you'd want to do. You'd want to first check your resting pulse rate, okay? You can get a pulse meter by checking your pulse on your fingertip. You can also just check your pulse here or here, and you're going to count how many beats per minute, okay? Or you could count it for 15 seconds and then multiply it times 4. Now, normally an average pulse rate is about 72. If your pulse rate is like high, like 90, 100, higher than that, then you need to check that out because that's not normal in a resting pulse rate. If it's low, that's much better. But it really depends, because if you don't work out and it's really, really low, that could be a heart problem. But if you do exercise and you're somewhat fit, the pulse rate should be like less than 72. It should be like in the 60s. And some people, they're very fit, even comes down to the 50s or even the 40s. And that's a healthy heart. All right, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to exercise for 1 minute, and you're going to do it really intense, like about 80% of your maximum intensity. And so just use judgment on this. I don't want to get too complicated. Just go really hard, okay, for 1 minute. And then check your pulse rate at the end of that 1 minute exercise. So let's say it was 160, okay? You got your pulse rate up to 160. Then you're going to rest for 1 minute, okay? Then you're going to check your pulse rate again. And let's say it's 150, all right? You're going to subtract these two numbers. This happens to be 10, okay? And then you can use this little chart right here. If your pulse rate only comes down 12 beats or less, okay, that's bad. That means you're at a higher risk of having a heart problem. Now, I had this lady come into my office, and we did this test, and her pulse rate got up to 150. Okay?
I did not know that.
And then for some reason,
I just always like to watch the pulse coming back down. I usually like to bring it back down into the hundreds range. But yeah, I would feel like after a minute of rest, if you weren't if you did your 1 minute push and you got your heart rate up, because you want it to be up high. You want it after that 1 minute push, because that's when you're in your fat burning stage. But when you take that 1 minute and it still stayed high, I would definitely see that feel like there was something off, but also it could just simply be you're not breathing. When you're taking that 1 minute break, you got to breathe through the nose and out the mouth. You have to do your breathing. If you don't do the breathing, then you're not bringing your heart rate back down. So I would definitely be looking at, okay, well, let's just take another 30 seconds and I'll sit with my client and breathe proper and hopefully bring it back down by that. Otherwise, I would probably stop doing the high intensity if the heart rate wasn't coming back down. Most of my clients have like smartwatches, or they wear like Fitbits or whatever, so we can constantly see their heart rate, because I like them to get up. I know that if they're not getting up in like the 150, 160, even a 170 range, they're not putting their heart rate up there, then they're not pushing hard enough. So that shows me, let's go, you got more in there, you got to give me more. So sometimes I let the first round slide though, because you're warming up, you're warming your muscles up. The first round I'll let slide, but as we're going along, I like to check that heart rate and make sure that we're in the optimal zone that we want to be in. But yes, if it doesn't come down, then there's definitely an underlying issue we've got to look into.
And
Remember,
I
this is
didn't really
HIIT we're talking
check
about.
after resting. I think we forgot about her or something, and she went home. Well, the next day she came in,
But I'm sorry.
right, got up to 150. Okay,
My bad.
you're at
My bad.
a
My bad.
higher
My bad.
risk of having a heart problem. Now, I had this lady come into my office, and we did this test, and her pulse rate got up to 150. Okay, and then for some reason, I didn't really check after resting. I think we forgot about her or something, and she went home. Well, the next day she came in, I checked her pulse rate again. Guess what it was? 150. That's really bad.
Yeah.
So her pulse rate
Your
did not
resting
even
pulse
change
rate should
after
not be that high.
24 hours. Okay, that means she has no recovery. And I've only seen that bad situation another time, where this guy who was in the special forces, he was in some exercise. He had to jump from a plane using a parachute, and somehow he landed in the trees and crushed his back, and he got captured for 2 weeks and tortured, and somehow he survived that trauma. And before that, guess what he did for a living? He was a rodeo clown. And so he just had a series of traumas. Well, when I checked his recovery, there was absolutely zero recovery. And he had very, very high blood pressure and a lot of problems. We did help him eventually. And that just gives you another example of poor recovery. Now, if this top number and bottom number come out to be 13 to 20, okay, there's a moderate risk of a problem. So you want to go kind of light. But if you're 20.
So what he's saying here is, what he's talking about is, when you're to tell if you're at high risk for heart disease in some fashion, or that you shouldn't be doing high intensity interval training, is taking your heart rate before you start your exercise at all. Take your heart rate so you have a gauge of what your resting heart rate is, and then go. I would actually take my heart rate in like a calm state. Like, if you're just at home in the morning and chilling, take your heart rate then, because some people do have workout anxiety. It's a thing. Like, once they get to the gym with their trainer, they start kind of like getting like a little panicky, almost like they call white coat anxiety, which is people that are going to the doctor. They start getting their heart. Sometimes you get a higher blood pressure or high heart rate when you're in the like sitting there when they're taking your vitals, because you're nervous about being there. And it's a thing. It's called white coat anxiety. Some people have that with fitness or training anxiety. So I would definitely, to know your resting, your true to state resting heart rate, I would take that in the morning when you're in your comfort zone and you're in your comfort space, and see what your resting heart rate is. And then once you start your workout, after that first round of that high intensity training, then take that heart rate and see what's the difference. So he's saying take the heart rate of your workout, your high intensity interval. Once you get your heart rate up, take that minus your resting heart rate, and whatever that number is, and that's how the difference is. That's how you're going to be able to tell whether you should continue doing these types of workouts, or maybe this isn't your cup of tea. Maybe your heart is just not in the condition it needs to be for you to do this. You definitely don't want to push it and pass out or have some kind of like minor stroke or something like that because you didn't know or weren't aware. So this is kind of like a at-home self-test that you can do to find out if your heart is in good standing. So if it's only come down, so let's say you got your heart rate to that 160, and then you're in your resting period. After that 1 minute of rest, you do 1 minute of push as hard as you can for 1 minute, and then 1 minute of rest. And after that 1 minute of rest, if it hasn't come down more than 10 beats, so if it was at 160 and you're bringing it down, and you already rested and breathed for a minute and it didn't come down past 150, that's not good. Even 140, that's not good. You want it to come down it should come almost all the way down to your resting heart rate if your heart is in good condition and able to keep up the pace. Very important to know. And some people don't know that they have that until they start trying this. So that's super important to know. Let's continue.
20 to 30, okay? So if this difference is 20 to 30, you're okay. Okay, it's not perfect, but it's still okay.
Different.
If it's less than 30, you're in pretty good shape. You're great. So ideally, you want that pulse rate to come all the way down as far as you can to the resting pulse rate. Okay, if you can bring it down to your resting pulse rate, you're in really, really good shape. And I remember another story, real quick. I have to tell you, this is fascinating. This guy, he was 80-something years old. Okay, and I noticed his pulse rate, I think it was like 160, came all the way down to his resting pulse rate. And he was in his 80s. So I was very, very impressed. I was like blown away that it came down that much. And come to find out, he won the Olympics when he was younger in water polo. And water polo is probably the toughest sport, the most demanding on your cardiovascular system and your endurance out of any of the sports. And he apparently took first place in the Olympics. And he maintained his physical fitness through this whole period of time. He can hold his breath easily 3 minutes underneath the water. So anyway, he had really good recovery. All right, I just want to show you one last thing, and we'll go right to the exercises. When you start an exercise and you raise your pulse rate, you're really stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, so this is all about stimulating the sympathetic flight or fight mechanism. The pulse rate goes up, it adapts to the body changes, it gets blood flow through the body. If you didn't have that, your blood pressure would drop, your blood flow in your brain would drop, and you wouldn't be able to climb up the stairs, you wouldn't be able to exercise.
So while he's talking, if you guys wanted to jot down some of these things, these are the top. This is the top of the list for the things that you could do to up your game with short amount of time. So what he's talking is the 1 minute push and the 1 minute, push and the 1 minute cool down. That's HIIT. That's what high intensity interval training is HIIT. We're going to get to what Tabata is, but this is where it all started for me in changing my workout game from, doing like long walks or climbing the stairs or doing, a run for 20 minutes. This is way more powerful than that for your metabolic push, for your builds, for your tightens and tones, like every part of workout. This is the way to do it. But what he's trying to explain is make sure your heart is fit enough to bring it up and down like it goes. It goes skyrocket hot into fat burning, and then you bring it all the way back down, and then you push it right back up, and then you bring it back down. So you got to make sure that your heart is in good standing to be able to do this, even though this is you can only do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, however many rounds you want to go, but it is a 1 minute push and a 1 minute rest, and that's one round. So depending on how much time you have, or if you're even at this level, Tabata is where I would start if you're a beginner in this type of interval training, and we're going to get there. So hold on, stay tuned, hold on. Let's continue with this though. But if you want to go ahead and write these down while he's talking, while they're up on
and
the
then
board.
at some point you stop, okay, and you're resting. That's this part right here. This is the parasympathetic nervous system control. It's called rest and digest. So the second you stop working out, this system actively comes in there and starts to push your pulse rate down. It starts to get your body down into this resting pulse rate and rest state. So it's actually pushing things down. It's a wave pattern. The problem with most people is they don't really see this system. They don't understand it's an active system that needs to be strengthened. And the way you strengthen it is after you work out, you let your body recover long enough. So when you do this pattern of exercise to recovery, realize that this rest period is very, very important to pay attention to and give your body a chance to fully recover. In fact, I recommend that you use your pulse rate and add more rest to let your pulse rate come down to close to the resting state. Mm-hmm. So instead of doing a pattern of, 60 seconds to a minute, maybe you do 60 seconds to 4 or 5 minutes rest, especially when you start out.
And people think that, okay, so if you're someone who's used to running, you go run for 30 minutes, or you're used to walking for 40 minutes, and maybe that's all your body can handle. Maybe you're not ready for these plyometric type of workouts that you see on the board that are listed on the board. But if you are, and you are able to do it, you think that if you push for 1 minute and then you're resting for 3 minutes to get the heart rate back down, that you're not getting the same amount of workout as if you were running for 30 minutes. But that's not true. Your body is so quick to adapt. And if you are comfortable in your comfortable zone and you're just right foot, left foot, and you're in a pattern and you're just kind of stagnant in your workout, even though you just keep going, I guarantee you are going to burn more calories, get more of a push, get more of a metabolic effect if you are doing 1 minute push with 3 minutes of rest, and then again a 1 minute push of 3 minutes of rest, and doing the same amount of time just from doing 4 or 5 pushes with 1 minute than you are running for 30 to 45 minutes. 20, 30, 45 minutes that you're just constantly running at the same speed. Now it's different if you're trying to do, I'm going to run for 1 minute as fast as I can, and then I'm going to rest for the minute or 2 minutes. That's a different ball game. But if you're just used to hitting the pavement or hitting that treadmill and doing right foot, left foot, it's like a pattern, and you're going at a certain speed the entire time, you're wasting your time if you're trying to get an optimal physical shape. This is the way to do it. If you're able to run, you're able to do HIIT workouts. That's just how that is. The only person that wouldn't be able to is somebody that has heart problems, and maybe you don't know. But that's why that ratio is good, by seeing what's your resting heart rate and what's your heart rate at your highest peak after you're done with your 1 minute push. Subtract that total, and it should be at least 30 beats difference. If you're at a 160, you should be down at least 130 after that minute of rest or 2 minutes of rest. My clients, most of them all get all the way down back to their 120s. So, that's a good test to decide whether or not you got a heart issue or not.
That way you can minimize overtraining, and you can start to strengthen your recovery system. You strengthen your parasympathetic nervous system control. All right. Let me give you some examples of HIIT exercises that are really good. Plyometrics. There's a sudden burst of energy, whether you're hopping on a platform or you're doing some type of explosive motion, okay? I have some old videos of me jumping on a stump back and forth, but that's plyometrics, a really good type of HIIT exercise. Jumping rope is another good example of a HIIT exercise. Burpees, another good one. Doing kickboxing. But with kickboxing, you have to make sure that you rest in between, because sometimes they'll push you to the point where there's no recovery. But with kickboxing, you can actually have some explosive movements. A spin bike, that's another great workout where you can actually do a very short burst of intense exercise using your legs. It's going to get your lungs and your heart and then you would rest. Kettlebell is another one. The Bulgarian bag, which I'm actually doing right now, which I love, it's like a sandbag that you're doing these different motions and you're whipping them over your body. And you talk about full body intensity. Boy, you can't do this for more than a minute and you have to rest. CrossFit is pretty intense. The problem that I see with CrossFit is that it's really good if you're younger, but as soon as you get older, you better make sure that you recover a lot longer because you need a short burst of high intensity with good recovery, and you have to make sure that you don't have injuries because it can be very traumatic. Okay, number 10, cross-country skiing. Now I'm talking about those machines that you're simulating cross-country skiing, and you can create some serious intensity. In fact, you can burn a tremendous amount of calories with cross-country skiing. Push-ups and sit-ups.
That's kind of
so
like
you don't really even need any equipment. You can do it without that, using your own body weight. Jumping jacks is another one. Mountain climber exercise is another one. It's pretty intense.
Those.
And all of these are great. But the number one high-intensity interval training exercise is sprinting. Okay? They call it sprinting interval training. Okay? SIT. In a meta-analysis of over 70 studies, they found that sprinting produced the most fat burning and the least amount of time doing it, which is very, very cool. So when they compared sprint interval training, which is really as a subtype of high intensity interval training, and they compare these two, there was 39.95% higher reduction of fat, overall body fat, and using a little more than 60% less time. So you're spending less time burning more fat if you compare sit exercises to HIIT exercises. Now, when they compared sprint interval training to MICT, which stands for moderate intensity continuous training, which is not quite as intense and it's longer, there was over a 91% higher reduction of body fat using 71% less time. So that's really cool.
Wow,
so let me explain a little bit more about how to do this, okay? Because it's slightly different. You're doing an all-out 100% effort. You're going as hard and as fast as you can using your whole body, okay? That's number one. You're not using like 80% of maximum intensity.
Now, this is how I like to say for my clients is for the push, a minute turns into feeling a long time if you're not in optimal space. So that's why we're going to talk about the Tabata. But for HIIT, when you're doing that, I say push until you can't and then rest until you can. So if you're pushing, you feel like you can feel your heart rate going up and you're like, hold on, I need to take a beat and breathe in. Stop what you're doing. Take some time to take a couple deep breaths and then jump back in to finish out your full minute. But when you jump back in, you got to jump back in hard and go as long as you can. Again, same process. Push until you can't and then breathe until you can. And then that's until you hit that 1 minute, and then you're going to have a full rest. Then you'll have full rest. But it doesn't mean to push through. Don't push through the 60 seconds if you feel like you're out of breath, you're dying, like you can't catch a breath, something's aching, you feel a burning sensation or a pinch you don't push through that 60 seconds. You take a rest. It's okay to take a rest in that 60-second quick rest. Take some deep breaths in and get that oxygen in and then push through till you finish up that 60-second push. Otherwise, you're just pushing and working on injury, and that's not where you want to be.
Intensity. You're just flat out going as fast as you can. Next thing is you're using very short duration. You're going to find that if you're going to sprint, you can't go very, very far, okay? Because you're doing this anaerobically without oxygen in your cells, and you're going to run out of oxygen really fast. But it's a great, great workout, not just for fat burning, but overall health. I mean, if you think about like a 100-yard dash, right? These guys are sprinting 100 yards, and a really good time would be like 12, 11, 10 seconds. I think the world record was like 9 point something seconds. I mean, that is a very, very short workout, right? Well, what I'm talking about is doing a sprint for like 30 seconds up to 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for what I'm talking about with the
30
sprinting,
seconds, take a little
I'm
breath,
talking about maybe you start out with
continue on.
15-second sprints, okay? Working your way up to 30-second sprints, and maybe eventually up to 60-second sprints. But
And that will get
most
you so much
people
further.
won't get up to 60. They'll stay at 30-second sprints.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very short workout, right? So it's a shorter workout, but your rest has to be longer. You want to rest between 2 and 4 minutes with a full rest. You don't want to jog in place. You want to sit down, let your pulse rate come all the way down to normal. So this is your workout, okay, if you're going to do sprinting. Maybe you find a place where there's a park, nice soft grass. You have your tennis shoes on and you can sprint. You start out doing your 15-second sprints, okay? And you're going to do 4 to 6 of those, okay?
He's saying to soft grass because, you know, for people that are recovering with their knees, he's talking to, you know, mainly, I would think about, you know, 40 plus workout, people who work out, unless you have super strong knees and joints and you've got your muscles built up around those knees. Otherwise, it's going to cause some aggravation when you're sprinting that hard. But if you do it in grass or something soft, then it's going to be a little bit kinder on your joints while you're first starting out to get in the flow of this, you know, new exercise for your body to handle. But it is so much more powerful. You can invest 5 minutes or 10 minutes opposed to 30, 40 minutes on the treadmill. Who wouldn't want to do that and get more of a benefit, more of a calorie burn, more of a metabolic manipulation than you would for just pounding down on a treadmill or on the road for 30 minutes. So it's pretty powerful. And all the science behind it is backing how your body responds to this type of training opposed to spending so much time in the gym doing something repetitive. You're just working smarter, not harder, like my dad would always say.
Okay, maybe you start just with 4 of those, and then you're going to rest.
This is what he's saying.
Sprint.
For HIIT,
You start out doing your 15-second minutes with a full rest. You don't want to jog in place. You want to sit down, let your pulse rate come all the way down to normal. So this is your workout, okay, if you're going to do sprinting. Maybe you find a place where there's a park, nice soft grass. Right. You have your tennis shoes on and you can sprint. You start out doing your 15-second sprints, okay? And you're going to do 4 to 6 of those, okay? Maybe you start just with 4 of those. And then you're going to rest between 2 and 4 minutes and you can check your pulse rate until you're really calm. And then you would do it again, back and forth for about 4 to eventually 6 sprints in a given workout. And you would only do that twice a week. That would produce way more fat burning than any of these right here. I'll put the link down below of the research. All right, and lastly, since we're on the topic of fat burning, if you want to speed up your fat burning.
Okay, so he says he's going to put the research in the link below. This video is also located on YouTube in my playlist under podcast info vids. So you can go and check this video out and then click the link below to find out the research and the science behind it. There's so much research and science behind HIIT training. And if you are starting out, that's a great place to start is at 15. I would do 15 seconds push. Like, let's say you are a runner. You love to run because it gives you that endorphin push that you love. So do that, but add these in instead of just going pound for pound, you know, pounding the treadmill for whatever you're running at as 6.5, whatever your run is, whatever your jog is that you're normally doing. Throw in a couple 15-second, 4, 5, 15-second pushes. So keep your run, but just 15 seconds, you're going to amp it up. You're going to hit that 7, maybe 7.5. I've got lots of videos. You guys know I've been on here doing my workouts for so long. Go level up by 15-second increments. Just 15 seconds, you guys can take your whole platform that you've been doing. You can lessen your time frame on that treadmill or workouts. You're just doing a 15-second push on what you're already doing, and then have some recovery time. But if you're going to go straight into doing these 15 seconds and that's where you're starting, let's talk about Tabata. Tabata is where it's at. If you're just starting out, this is so good. I feel like Tabata is something so like important that people don't know about, people haven't really heard about, but it's the same thing, interval training. So you're doing 20-second pushes, 10-second rest. You're doing 8 of those, and then you're done. That's it. 4 minutes. So it's 20-second push, 10-second rest, 20-second push, 10-second rest. So it's 20-second push of whatever you're doing. It could be high knees, it could be burpees, it could be mountain climbers, you could be doing jumping jacks. So you're doing 20 seconds of that push and then 10-second rest, and then jumping back into 20 seconds for the next thing until you reach your 4 minutes, and then you're done. That's the end of that. You can choose to do that again and do it 2 times through if you are so fit to do so, but that's all you need to push through and to really get a good workout and a good benefit. So what I'm going to put out to challenge you is try the 4-minute Tabata for 4 different times a week, and then for 4 weeks, and tell me at the end of that for you if you have not felt a change. This is something that I'm going to be doing coming up for the new year. We're starting this 4-4-4. So if you guys want to join in on this, make sure you do subscribe on my channel. And we are going to be pushing through. If you're on Facebook, it's Kara Christensen TV or Fit to Be Wild TV. And if you go over to Instagram, also Kara Christensen TV, and on YouTube, it's at Kara Chris TV. And we are going to be starting that up in January. I know everybody has these resolutions and they're trying to get their, back into shape and get their body back. You don't have to wait for that. You can start this now. And I'm always talking about the intermittent fasting. So this is something that you can incorporate into that and have a full, whole submersive game change on your body. It really is quite incredible what happens. But I'm going to show you now. I'm going to take you to the Tabata for someone to break down what that Tabata is, because Tabata is actually, let me go into here. Tabata is pretty much like a HIIT workout. It's just a little bit shorter of a time frame. Let me see. I found a person who talks about, let's see, people do how to do HIIT. Most people do HIIT. Oh, I love this guy. So I'm going to hear what he has to say about
high intensity interval training is a whole different ballgame than what most people think that it is. And in this video, I want to give you a breakdown of A, what high intensity interval training really is, but B, what kind of cardio you should be doing when you're intermittent fasting, or what you need to know to at least make an informed decision. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about before I even get into anything that has to do with fasting is truly give you the breakdown of what high intensity interval training should truly look like and what you're actually trying to accomplish.
If you're ready to
Most
level up,
people look at high intensity interval training as just this way to get a crazy lung burner, just an awesome workout where you feel like you just torched a bunch of calories. That's all fine and dandy, but it doesn't always elicit the best metabolic response, and it doesn't always elicit the best body composition response. You don't always get the desired outcome. You may feel like you accomplished something, but that's not because high intensity interval training is bad, it's because most people are doing it wrong. Here's the thing. When we're doing high intensity interval training, we are activating the anaerobic system of the body. So I want you to think of high intensity interval training cardio the same way that you would think of weight training. Weight training operates with the same metabolic business in your body that high intensity interval training does. It's utilizing carbohydrates as a source of fuel. Okay, so what that means is you're in that rep range of maybe 6 reps all the way up to 15 reps in the weight room. Well, it's the same kind of thing that you're burning when you're doing a high intensity interval training workout. So let me give you an example of what most people think HIIT looks like. Most people will go ahead and they'll do like 1 minute of high intensity exercise and then 1 minute off. Then they'll go back and they'll do 1 minute on and 1 minute off. And this is great to gamify a process. I understand that it makes it easy. But that's not how the body works. The body doesn't necessarily know what 1 minute is or what 2 minutes are. The body just knows when it's fully fatigued or not. The whole idea with high intensity interval training is you need to 100% be pushing it to the max and then recovering for however long it takes, whether it's 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, to be able to be fully recovered to give it 100% again. So it varies from person to person on how long the rest periods should be. It is absolutely not uniform. So for example, you should be doing your high intensity training all the way pedal to the metal for like 15, 20 seconds. Because quite honestly, that's about how much energy you have stored up in your body to really perform at 90 to 100%. If you're going longer than 20 or 25 seconds, then you're not pushing it at 90 or 100%. Plain and simple, period. You should be going all the way, then recovering as much as you possibly need to be able to afford to push it 100% again. If you're going at 1 minute on, 1 minute off, you're probably going something like 50, 60% of your maximum and then just recovering for however long it takes. That doesn't really add up. We need to elicit the metabolic response that we get when we would normally weight train, where we're going all the way to failure. Okay, so now let's talk about how this applies with fasting. When you are in a fasted state, your body is not utilizing carbohydrates as a source of fuel. When you are fasted, your body is using ketones. It's using fat. It turns fats into ketones. When you are doing high intensity interval training, you're utilizing carbs. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about how high intensity interval training is going to help them get into a fasted state easier. Not really the case. You see, once you're already fasting, your body just stores the glycogen and puts it away. It's not like you have to burn through all your glycogen first before you start burning fat. It's really just how long you are going without eating before your body starts using fat. So it's not like you have to drain your tank and then start using fats. It doesn't quite work all the way like that, although it does in some cases. But high intensity interval training isn't going to get you to the benefits of fasting any faster. If you like to do high intensity interval training, it should simply be because it feels good and because you want to get the maximum heart rate benefits. That's all there is to it. I like HIIT because it feels good. I get a good mental response from it. But if you're fasting and you're just looking to burn some fat, you're probably better off doing a little bit more of a steady state type of cardio. I'm talking like literally just 15, 20 minutes at like 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. That's going to oxidize.
This is for if you're in your fasted state. So like for instance, right now I'm at 16, 17 hours fasted. So if I were going to go and do a push, I probably wouldn't do the high intensity interval training. I would go and do maybe like how I do my walks with some light band exercises while I'm on there, just to get that strength training in too. So I'll do I'll do walking lunges at a 1.5 or 1.3 on the treadmill, and I'll incorporate those. So this is a good one to do if you're in a fasted state. So if you've been fasting, you start burning fat. You're in your first stage of fat burning in your fasted state at 15 hours. So if you fasted from 15 hours from the last moment that you ate yesterday to the next day, and it's been 15 hours, you're in stage 1. The next hour, 16 hours, stage 2. You're going through your stages by hour. But you start getting in where your body starts using your fat, your stored fat for fuel, right there in that 15-hour mark. So if you're in that, you go if you got a treadmill or walking pad at home, you start into a walking state. You can do walking, then you can go into walking lunges to really like start activating the muscles, get muscle activation for that 1 minute, and then you stand up and walk again rested for that 1 minute. So this is called a moderate HIIT interval training. So it's not high intensity, it's it's called MIT, what he was saying, moderate interval training. So then you do your walks, right? You do your walking lunges for a minute, and then you stand back up and do just your regular walk for 1 minute. And then you do your walking lunges for 1 minute. And then if you wanted to add a couple jogs, don't do your sprinting, just do your jogging if you're in that fasted state. I would jog for 1 minute at maybe 6.5, and then I bring it back down. If your jogging is at 5, that's okay. Do it with what for you, whatever your level's at. Don't think you have to hit the 6 or 6.5, but also don't jump back in until you know that your heart rate has come back down. That's why these devices, the wearable devices, the watch and all, what is it? The steps counter that also calculates your heart rate. Having something that is calculating your heart rate in real time. If you're at the gym and you're using the handrails, the thing that gets your heart rate, you have to do that to make sure before you start your push again, make sure your heart rate comes back down. That's so important. Otherwise, you're just fatiguing your body out too quickly and you're not getting the full benefit of what these interval trainings are about. The interval training is for you to push your heart rate up. It's metabolic manipulation. You want to manipulate your heart rate, and you want to go up and down, up and down. But if you're staying too close within 20 beats or 30 beats with what your up was and it's not coming down, just take a little bit longer. So don't stick to, okay, it's exactly 60 seconds. Maybe you need 90 seconds to recover. Maybe you need 120 seconds. Maybe you need a full 2 minutes. That's totally fine. Bring that heart rate down so you can bring it back up. Otherwise, you're missing the benefit. The benefit is to bring it up and bring it all the way back down so you can bring it up again. But when you're doing the moderate, you're not going so high. So normally in a high intensity interval training push, you're going to like 160, maybe 170 heartbeats per minute. Then you're going to bring it all the way back down to, you want to bring it down in the low 100s. And then you're going to push it right back up again. So if you're doing a moderate, which is the MIT moderate interval training, maybe you're only going to like 150 is your heart rate rather than 160, 170. Maybe you're getting it to 150, but make sure you still got to bring it back down in that rest. But your recovery time should be so much quicker. You shouldn't have to wait 2 or 3 minutes unless you're just starting out and this is a first go for you and you're trying to get into that zone. Then you probably might, this is going to be a new ball game. But your body will adjust and bring it back down. But it is important to know what your resting heart rate is so you know kind of a gauge where to go from there. This guy is very informative too. He was always this guy's, what is this guy's name again? I can't remember. I really like him because he's somebody that's also been Thomas DeLauer. I don't know if I said that right. DeLauer. I'm going to subscribe because I do like his videos, but he's someone who was always that chunky kid. He always was the chubby kid. He always was obese. He, even into adult years, he was obese. And then he decided to make a change. And he started out with the intermittent fasting. And then the intermittent fasting led him going into the pushing weights and workouts. So he's dedicated pretty much his whole adult life after he lost 100-something pounds to this program and becoming a nutritionist and saying, look, you don't have to stay as you were. You can make that change. If you were a chubby kid or you've been obese your whole life, you can make that change. And it doesn't have to be something that takes a long time. You just have to be doing the right things in the time frame that you have available. And that's what's so beautiful about HIIT and about Tabata, is that you can do your workouts that are actually effective in a short amount of time. Like, that's the beauty of it. That's the sweet spot, because a lot of people have a job, got kids, when they come home, that's their second job, or they got 2 jobs and their kids, and they're trying to shuffle and juggle so many things, and they're run down, don't have enough energy to do it, don't have enough mental focus or clarity, not getting the best sleep. If you fit these 4 minutes in, that is like optimal. That's all you need right there. And the 4-minute Tabata workout, 20-second push, 10-second rest, 20-second push, 10-second rest. I've done videos on it and I'm going to do it again. And we're going to start in January. We're starting the 4-4-4. So after the holiday, after everybody gets through that, we're starting back on that. If you guys want to jump in, you can. If you want to start this right now, you can. There's plenty of Tabata exercises out there that you can go off of, or just find a rhythm that works for you, some of the workouts that work for you, and then go with that. It's all on your own pace and your own time. If it takes you a little bit longer to recover than somebody else, then let that be. And you're going to adjust. You're going to get stronger. You're going to get faster. You're going to get better. It will adjust, but you've got to have a starting point. And the starting point for me, for my clients, would be a good Tabata workout. Unless they've already been working out, they're conditioned to lifting weights or doing some type of cardio. If they've already been in that realm, I'll go ahead and pop off with a HIIT training. Even though it's a lot different than, a regular cardio or just doing your regular workouts with weights. HIIT training is a heart rate thing. So make sure that you have the heart that can handle the HIIT going up and down. But the Tabata is a great place to start because you're just doing 20 seconds, 10 seconds for 8 rounds. 20-second push could be anything, like I said, jump rope, 20-second jump rope, 20-second squats, jump squats, 20-second, as long as you're like when I'm saying push, you're doing the absolute most that you can do. The absolute most that you can do in that 20 seconds. You're doing high knees, you're doing it like you're on hot coals. You're just pumping those knees up like you're on hot coals. Like if you're doing mountain climbers, you're same thing, like your feet are on fire. You ever go to the pool and the pool deck around is like at a public, if you're out at a public pool or whatever. As a kid, I remember it was hot. Or going to like a theme park where it has a water park. The freaking floor is hot from the sun. You're running quick because your feet are on fire. That's how I say it to my clients. Run like your feet are on fire. Run, sprint, knees up, everything, mountain climbers, whatever we're doing, like your feet are on fire. Like every time you touch it, it's and you're just getting that heart rate up and you're pulling your heart rate up for 20 seconds. That's it, 20 seconds. 20 seconds. You know anything for 20 seconds. 20 seconds on, 10-second rest. 20 seconds on, 10-second rest. You could do a full body with those 8 moves. 8 moves, and then you're done. But if you want to continue and you want to keep going, push through and do a whole nother set of that after you've had like an optimal amount of rest and bringing that heart rate all the way back down. So I would probably, do a 5-minute in between, 5-minute, just full on relax, focus on breathing, maybe stretch, and then get back into it. You guys know how I am about that stretching now. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Stretch and water. Stretch and water. Save your life. Stretch and water. Let's see what he has to say the rest. I really do like this guy though, because I like anybody who talks about their journey, and because they've had the past, like me gaining all that weight, having all that weight on me, being in my worst fitness health zone I've ever been in, and just deciding this isn't who I want to be, this isn't how I want to live my life, changing it for me. If you're trying to do this for somebody else, I mean, if that works for you, then do it. But at the end of the day, it has to be something you truly want. You want to be that better person. You want to show up and represent for yourself. You want to have that maximum energy, the best sleep, the best optimal health. You want to have your metabolic rate on the inside in your 20s, even if you're in your 40s or 50s or 60s, you can have an inner working system that seems like when you do the test that it's in its 20s. That's very capable. But what you might have right now is you've been eating bad for so long, you've been obese your whole life, or maybe the last 5 years you just let yourself go, or 10 years, or whatever the case. That none of that matters when it comes down to starting to do it the right way, by how you're eating, when you're eating, allowing yourself to have enough time to recover between your meals, and also what kind of workouts are you doing? What kind of physical exercise are you doing? I'm telling you right now, 4 freaking minutes, 4 days a week for 4 weeks, it'll change you. It really will. And you're going to start seeing yourself by the end of that 4 weeks. You're going to be like, this isn't enough. Everybody does. This isn't enough. I need to go a little bit longer. I could probably do 30 seconds. And then you're working your way up to that HIIT training, which is a 60-second push, and then your 60-second to 1-minute rest. So work your way up there. Don't start there unless you've already been working out. But it doesn't matter if you've been eating bad, you've let yourself go for the last 10 years, or you never were in shape and you're starting from scratch. By shrinking that eating window, cutting out those sugary drinks, cutting out the bad snacks, and just having the meals, full meals, 1 full lunch and 1 full dinner. Or if you're more for a breakfast lunch kind of person, 1 full meal there and 1 full meal at lunch. And then maybe, the next day you switch it up. You want to you schedule it to be a little bit later, you can do that. But as long as you have excuse me, 15 hours is where you get your full benefit. 15 hours of a fast between the last meal that you ate and then the next meal that you eat the next day. You have 15 hours is so many benefits. So many benefits happen in that realm. But then you start burning that fat. Your body starts burning every bit of fat you have stored for fuel after that. So it's so important to know that it doesn't matter how long you've been in bad shape or overweight, it can all be changed in a blink of an eye so quickly just from adding those 4 minutes of push each day for 4 days, only 4 days. You could even do 2 days, whatever works for you to start to get you motivated. And you don't even have to be doing those things standing up. You can do anything that you want to do on sitting down on a chair, on the couch, just by sitting back and doing like cross knees or high knees like this while you're sitting down. The choice is yours, and it can be done with whatever your level is at right now. But as long as you're moving and doing something, like those resistant bands I'm constantly on about, having those sitting next to your chair or your couch while you're watching a show, picking it up during a commercial, or just because you're sitting there and you're bored, you're thinking about going to have a snack. Don't do that. Grab the resistant band and say, okay, if I still feel like I want to have a snack after I drink a glass of water or the apple cider vinegar cocktail, and then I go into maybe I want to do 20 reps with my band. If I still want to have a snack after that, then we'll try and find something healthy. But chances are you won't, because you're now getting out of your boredom snacking stage where you want to go and have something to eat because you're bored. Or a lot of people mistake what they're being hungry for being thirsty. They're dehydrated. So have a glass of water. Make it room temperature so you can just drink the whole thing down. Drink that water and then do something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be an exercise. Even if you want to be sitting down and doing up downs, standing up, sitting back down, standing up, sitting back down. Do 10 of those. Drink your glass of water and then still see after that if you still want that snack, or if you can say, all right, I'm just going to hold off. I can make it until dinner time. So those are little mind tricks to do to keep you on schedule, because it can be a daunting, difficult thing to get out of when you're used to eating all these snacks and eating all these meals a day. And now you're going down to 2 meals for the day, 2 big meals for the day, but you're shrinking your window down, and your body will change. Even though you're not changing, you don't have to even change any of the food at that point. You're just changing how long you're eating. The quickest way to lose 7 to 12 pounds right off the bat in 1 week is going to be cutting out your sugary drinks, cutting out your sodas, your diet sodas, your whatever, the sweet teas, juices, fruit juices, whatever it is that you're drinking that has a load of sugar in it. Cutting that out for 1 week, you will be shocked at how quickly your body changes. It is really quite impressive. Just from that one thing. You could still be eating French fries and burgers and pastas and all the other junk, potato chips, cookies. You shrink your window, cut those sugary drinks out. When I say shrink your window, I'm talking about 10, 8-hour eating window from the time you put food in your mouth to the end, to the last moment that you put food in your mouth. 8 to 10 hours, 10 at the max. Cut the sugary drinks out, still be eating all that junk, and still lose weight. That's how powerful the intermittent fasting is. You can still lose weight eating French fries and potato chips and cookies. I'm not saying go eat that stuff if you haven't not already eating it, but I'm saying you can still lose weight by eating all that stuff just by shrinking your window and cutting out the sugar drinks, cutting out all the carb loaded sugar, refined sugar loaded drinks, and you watch the weight come off. It is quite something. I definitely think that people don't understand the power of the intermittent fasting, and they think it's kind of hokey pokey, and they're not sure about whether or not they want to invest their time into it. But then when I talk to my clients and I say, just give me 5 to 7 days. 5 days, they're usually already seeing such a difference and feeling a difference, because you start feeling less clouded, you start feeling more energy, you start sleeping better just from the 5 days. So it usually, the allowance of the 7 days gets them at 10 pounds, 12 pounds off the scale, which probably hasn't moved in years. And they're like, wait a second, what? This is all because of the eating? I'm telling you right now, just shrinking that window and taking out those sugary drinks is all you need to start without any workout change, without any other food changes, just that. And if that doesn't do something to motivate you, then I do not know what will. But that is a great place to start on your journey. If you're feeling stressed out and you're like you're not sleeping well at night and you're having a hard time falling asleep and you've got lots of anxiety and you've got ailments like your back's hurt and your neck's hurt and you got achy joints, that Tabata is where it's at. Let me show you an example of what Tabata is. Let me get there. Let me go ahead and save this video just for anybody that wants to go back and look at that. It's going to be right here in my podcast info vids, right there. So all the videos that I show on this podcast is going to be right here in my playlist under podcast info vids. So let me go up here and show you an example of a Tabata workout. So that way you can kind of see Tabata workout, and which I've done also on my channel, but since we're just right here talking, let's go through it. I don't like to watch myself working out. Yeah, it's hard for me to watch that. Ooh. Finally somebody with some volume.
8 rounds in the 45 and go down.
Okay,
8 rounds
for
in the
someone that's
45
physically
and go
able to do
down.
this.
8 rounds in the 45 and go down.
This is an example of Tabata.
Yeah, look, I was passing aggression, passive aggressiveness. I left him hanging like loose ties, as loose ties. I do not, he begging to go or not. Depends on the situation, he going up like inflation. Fuck all the haters that said that he couldn't make it. My brother drowned in the lake, how could all you people mistake it? He fought hard for what he had, murderers holding guns. You worried about all the extra to water gets in your lungs, like. Hey, how could you do this shit? How could you do this when you know I'm going through this shit? Real shit, G shit, I really do this shit. I ain't about it, but you know I'm walking through this shit. Look,
8 rounds in the 45 and go down.
look,
8 rounds in the 45 and go down.
This
8
is
rounds in
done
the 45
with
and go
whatever
down.
you're
8
comfortable
rounds in the
with.
45
Standing
and
in
go
place,
down. 8
that's out.
rounds in the
You
45
don't
and
have
go
to
down.
do
8
full
rounds in the
jump if your knees
45 and
aren't
go down.
ready for
8
that.
rounds
You
in the
just do a step
45
out.
and go
That's a
down.
modified
8
version.
rounds in the
Do a lot of
45 and go
modified
down.
versions of my workout. I like how you're doing that.
3, 2, 1, go!
Like, you may not be able to do this.
fuck, I ran, I hit the dealer. Serving Coke 45 at the bleachers. About to follow, I'm the leader. Hit the bitch, then I pass, I don't need her. But don't call Peter. Like the Griffins with the lowest with the Peter. Like the posse be smoking gasoline. I cannot go with these Nina.
You even do this on your couch. Just kind of on the couch.
3, 2, 1, go!
8 rounds in the 45 and go down. 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 8 rounds in the 45 and go
You don't
down.
have to do all of these out. Always a modification that you can do, even when you're sitting down on your couch or in a chair in your house watching a show. If it's got a little commercial break, and you can pop some of these out. These are also really good to do for that. You can turn around, put your elbows up on the couch or the chair and do these mountain climbers, or you could just do pull-in, which is a modified version of a mountain climber. For the jumping jacks, instead of jumping all the way and putting all that pressure on your joints, maybe you just do a step out. Maybe you just like come side to side and step in the leg out, and waving those hands above the air and doing it as fast as you can. Whatever your starting point is, that's totally fine. You're going to build those muscles up around those knees and you are going to get stronger, I promise. Let's continue. Let's see what else they got here. Thank you for letting me know how. Okay, so this one is going. I really love this one though, because it works so many different
3, 2, 1, go!
Even if you're holding a dumbbell, I like to hold a dumbbell on my hand too. They're really good. You're not doing a whole lot of exercises. It doesn't work all up good. This exercise will work for you. You have to do it in a modified version to modify it to get that level. Let's see what's next. But that's totally fine. You got 8 exercises. You want to do 4 exercises. You want to come up with 4 exercises that work for you, and then double that.
3,
8.
2, 1, go!
That's Tabata. Minutes. So we're doing it pretty moderate. But if you want to amp the game up, push. You're really pushing on that where you're going to a full before you go into your rest. You want to push that so hard in that 20 seconds and then 10-second rest. But this is the 4 minute. So this one also says for
Welcome to Tabata. Here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh no, I like that 50.
Round 1.
Yeah. Push up, people on it, control, modification, hold it in time. You're just doing 20 seconds. You're trying to
Stop!
the only girl holding it down. Alright.
3, 2,
I like that they're
1,
doing this
go!
together. It's good. You can't switch between after you're doing. Remember, switching out is totally fine. We're doing 20 seconds here. Let's see. These are great for abs, you guys. So all you're doing is still pressing. Keeping your head up. You want to keep your head up and flat. You want to I like to kind of count how I do it. And then that way it engages all the way up to that core, very top muscle. So you're doing just your head up like you're taking the clouds and then you're reaching to the ankles.
3, 2, 1, go!
Side. Not move.
Round 4.
Right here, you can do on a chair, do on a couch. You don't have to do it off the ground. You're utilizing your shoulder muscles, your triceps, using every part of your arm. After your shoulders, your elbows, that's a great one.
Halfway.
10 seconds. I like
Round 5.
for the neck. The great your glute, quadriceps, hamstrings. Even if you wanted to add a little bit to this, you wanted to add a little bit more to that one, you just simply go up on your toes. So you go down in your squat and then coming up on your toes, down in your squat, coming up on your toes. That's also a great way to add the calves in. Gotta have strong calves too. You can't just be all upper body and then these little tiny stick legs. You're not trying to walk around looking like SpongeBob up in here. Okay. I do like these exercises though. It's very low.
1, go!
These are what I was talking about. Modified mountain climber. So if you want to do this on the house here, the house in your living room, you're very good. You're working all your arms. Turning over your foot bra or your bra, ladies. That's a good one to do a mountain climber, and then you're feeling that core all the way around. You're getting the foot higher.
3, 2,
That mountain
1,
climber.
go!
That was a good modified one.
Round 7.
This is what I was talking about. Instead of you're doing this. You're checking out and going down to the butt and doing that. Now, got knee injuries, joint injuries, your upper knee, the way to still get the workout in without hurting yourself or aggravating. This is a good one. I'm going to save this. Put it into. This is great. I'll do it on the couch or in the chair. Sitting down and you just want to toss it. Go ahead and save it. Put it away.
7, 6,
I'm going to put that in podcast for this. And I have a whole bunch of new workouts that I'm going to be posting up here so you guys can get back in the zone with me. I already have so many workouts that are posted, but these are going to be the quick Tabata workouts. Once we hit January 1st, we are going to start doing the Tabata workout 4 minutes for 4 weeks. 4 days a week for 4 weeks. And that is going to be a great program for you guys to get started on. So be sure to subscribe to my channel at Kara Chris TV on YouTube and it's Kara Christensen TV on Insta, Facebook, and Insta, Facebook, and that's it, right? Yeah, Instagram and Facebook. But on YouTube, it's at Kara Chris TV, and that's where I'm going to be posting up all the videos, the new workout videos. So this is a great spot to start, which is the Tabata, which we had been talking about. HIIT is what you aspire to go into as somebody who's already been working out and already got your game face on, and you've been doing stuff in the gym or at home, and you're ready for that next level. It's a level up. That's where your HIIT training would be. But Tabata is going to be a great place to start if you haven't done interval training before. But these are some great workouts to do. I am going to show one more set of high intensity Tabata, just so you can see where you go from there. Let me see what these are. This is a full body 4-minute HIIT Tabata workout. Let me do high intensity Tabata, because that's going to be the best. Give me the best read on these things. Let's see, Tabata. Let me put high intensity Tabata. High intensity Tabata workout. There we go. Okay, let's give you an example of a high intensity Tabata workout. 4-minute high intensity Tabata workout. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he brings the heat, you guys. Okay, let's go.
Welcome to Tabata.
Welcome to Tabata. I knew. No, this is if you're ready to really push it. You're getting bored with your regular Tabata. See how he's getting at it? Like push, 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 push. As hard as you can. So he's breathing into the nose, out through the mouth. That's your rhythm going oxygen, and you can push that whole thing.
3, 2, 1, stop.
You can't. There you go. Deep breath in. Taking those deep breaths in. Exhaling. Yeah, burpees. That's my spot. That's my spot. Oh, this is not as long. Okay. Maybe not in my podcast. There you go. You don't have to do ladies. You don't have to do bottom. You can go Workout Wednesdays. Learning some stuff. Here we go. See how he's putting those deep breaths in, and you're doing Tabata, and you're doing a full high intensity Tabata to it. Now for these, to hurt my knees. I'll do 20 seconds on one side. You jump, one jump, down, and then I'll do my other side, rather than just one shift. Ask someone who's in recovery, which I'm constantly in, because I'm so scared getting another knee injury. Oh my gosh, no. Here we go, mountain climber first. You're breathing the whole time. Full breath in and full breath out. They're so good. Full body workout right here. It works literally for all the way around. I call it higher because it works even up. Back flap areas down, lower back flap, full tire. Then do that, deep breath. Bring it in. That oxygen is going to power your energy up. I'm going to go back to it. I like it. Four exercises. Nice and simple. There you go. I move burpees. I even like plank back. You're in a plank, you're backing out, and then you do side knees. You want to jumping jack. You're in a plank, you do a jumping jack out with your legs, and then you do two side knees. Really amp your knees for your core. Hit all those areas. This is a great workout though. Really get down with it. Okay, yeah. It's saved in my podcast for you guys know. Hopefully you're able to use these and not get flagged. Lunge jumps, remember, if you're doing the lunge, to one side, with one leg, and down, and then sit. Okay, let's get that out of here. With this and other workouts from these shorts here. High intensity, oh, that's, so these people that are doing the 20 minutes, they're not going with like an absolute Tabata. Tabata is 8. No repeats, no equipment. Tabata. Oh, these are Tabata songs. The same guys are not. How to work out.
Welcome to Tabata.
Which
Are you ready?
Absolutely love.
5,
That's
4,
for work for
3,
beginners
2, 1, go.
that are just starting out in the interval training, not getting into the full interval.
Round 1.
This is not for beginners. The moves are not beginner moves. And my water in, you guys. Drink it quicker. Drink it out of a glass. There you go.
Round 2.
Well, these are good burnouts
5,
for
4,
guys,
3,
girls,
2,
anybody.
1, go.
Do it on your knees, that's totally fine. It's a great workout. That help me in my knees. This is a really good workout. Remember, anything that I'm showing you guys on this podcast, I'm going to have it in my podcast. So you can go and check it out, or even try it too. So don't forget also to subscribe to my channel so you guys can join in on the 4 coming up in the new year. We're doing it all together. So 4 minutes a day, 4 days a week, for 4 weeks challenge. Remember those quick lunges. You see a lot of this thing, right? Lunge, burpees, and the high knees, or the mountain climbers. Get what's working, right? If you see it over and over again from all these different people, you know that it's something that's obviously got some power to it and change. This is one of my favorite things too. Let's do it here. Right here. This is a star jump. You go down into a squat and you come up into jumping back and off if you're able. And it's a lot less than putting of torture on your joint. You'll get a little bit of that jumping back motion.
Round 7.
Oh, thank you.
3.
So when you're going into, these are so good. These ski jumps are so good about shaping your legs and tackling the glute in a different space than it is in just a regular squat, because of how your muscles have to maneuver to get your leg behind you like that and then pull it back up. You're really engaging, which is a really hard space to engage, is that outer glute. Like if you're at the gym and you're using the machine, the abductor machine, then you're pushing out with the weight. That's a good way to get to the to get to that glute muscle on the outside. But if you're not able to get to a gym and you really want to get that space and really building those glutes, this is a great exercise, the ski jumps, because you have to really engage that outer part of your glute to get you to push you back over. So this is a really good leg shaper move right here. I love these. You notice that I do these in my workout. And then going into your rest. Remember, you're only doing 20 seconds. You're doing a bunch of different moves. I want to skip these things. This is what I'm talking about. This is the burpee I'm talking about without the push-up. So this is literally just a jump squat, essentially, and you're going down into plank, popping those feet to the back, and then back up. That's the burpee without the push-up. Super productive, and it's good for people that aren't really great at doing the burpee part. So let's dive back in. I like it. What's next? I'm just kind of fast forwarding through here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, these are great for the abs. Oh. That is a killer ab workout for getting those side, your side muscle, pulling, tapering it in. This is a really great exercise where you're going into plank, and then when you pull your knees back in, you're going to the side. It is full on oblique burnout. Like if you're trying to get that nice good cut in your abs and bringing that tapering shape in, this is a great move for that. Yes, buddy. Let's go. Here we go. We're back at the abs, core, arms, back. Right. Look at the muscles in his arms and moving. That is what happens in this move. It's absolutely like an arm burner, and then you're using your quads to stabilize yourself and your core stabilize yourself. Sorry about that. So that is absolutely, you can see it in real time right here when you're watching all his muscles in his arms engaging, because that is such a powerful. Now you're pushing up all your weight on one arm, on the other arm. You're stabilizing with your quadriceps right here, the muscles in the front, and the core is the whole time burnout because you're holding yourself up at a horizontal position while you're there going up and down and engaging all of these muscles in your shoulders or your arms, your shoulders, your back, to lift yourself up into that position and then to lower yourself back down. Lift yourself back up and lower yourself back down. So you want to get a nice, good sculpted arm. That's the exercise for you right there. You want to sculpt up and tighten up those flaps. You got some arm flaps, or you got some hangovers back here that hang over your body. I like it how Jack, what's his last name, Bo? Jack DeLauer. No, not this guy's name's DeLauer. Jack, your guy you taught us, says we're going to get rid of those hangovers. Not talking about the mental hangover, talking about the fat that hangs over on the back, that hangs over on the ball area. Any kind of hangovers you got, or tighten them back up and getting them back in shape. And that's a great one to do, is this one right here. Let me back it up. This move right here. Let's pull it up.
3, 2, 1, go.
That's it. You can literally see his muscles engaging. Watch his back muscles, his lateral muscles, his triceps, all those spaces right there in those arms. Watch. That is a great one. Core, everything. So good right there. Let's see what's next. I really like his workout so far. I'm going to put this in my list too.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yep. Here we go. Remember how I feel about that? Tilting the head up, kissing the clouds, so you engage at the very, very top of your core muscles at the very, very top. Get that nice little triangle at the top, keeping that head tilted so you can fully engage that, and then get into your cross pattern bicycle moves. And this is a great exercise also, killing that core. 20-second push, 10-second rest. Let's go. Last one is. Okay. Now this one is full. And I probably would have started with that. That's a jumping knee up. Let's see what else he's got. Let's see what this is. Okay. See how he has his hands behind him? That's to feel his feet. He's trying to kick his feet in the back. You're trying to kick that heel all the way up and kick that foot. Last one.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Now he's doing a full burpee. So he's going all the way down into that push-up form, and then explode pushing all the way up into this jump squat. So he's going all the way down. He's not pausing and then doing a push-up. He's rolling all the way down into that push-up and then exploding up into his jump squat stance, jumping all the way up. Some people even jump all the way up, pull their knees up for the high knee, and then back down all the way straight down into the bottom of the push-up. Not holding it here, just going straight down in. That's a power move. That is a great full body right there. Burpees are my absolute favorite for a full body workout. Like, you can't get my... I know people hate them, but you have to go all the way down like he's doing. Like, he already did the modified version. And that's it. It's so quick. I'm going to save this one. If I didn't already, I might have already done that. Yep, I did. So all of these are going to be in that podcast info vids on my page at Kara Chris TV. That way you have access to them at any time that you want to go back and check them out. So they're there for you guys. I'm going to have to shorten this chat today. Thank you guys so much. Hal and Bo, thank you for keeping me in my letting me know when the video is too loud or you weren't able to hear me at all. That would have been a nightmare because I was muted on accident. I would have done the whole podcast without it. And thank you so much. I got so many things I'm juggling, and my brain is like a constant, cycle of all of the tasks to get done. So I definitely do not always nail everything, and I appreciate you being here and helping me out, the two of you. Thank you so, so much. But that is going to be it for today. Tomorrow we're going to be back on at 1 o'clock. Hopefully I can get this figured out once we get on here, once I get off here, of why those aren't streaming to Facebook, the other Facebook page. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. I hope that you found something productive and found something that you can fit into your busy lifestyle. Tabata is a great way to go, working your way up into that HIIT training. You can even do modified training if you're not ready for that full intensity and you want to do something more moderate. Definitely go into something a little more low key of a workout, but still hitting that 60-second push, and then going into your rest 60 to 100 to 90 to 120, however long it takes you to fully bring that heart rate back down, because that is where Tabata and HIIT, that's what it's all about, is bringing that heart rate up and bringing it back down. Tabata is just a quicker, faster paced, shorter time frame workout to get you into that heart burning or that fat burning zone with your heart rate going up and down. But if you are not bringing that heart rate down, you are not getting the workout benefit. You're just sending your body and your muscles into fatigue, and you're not having your full recovery time, so you're not able to push full. So you're not going to get the full benefits. So make sure you do check. Be sure to check on your heart rate, keeping that in a burning zone. You want to be 20 to 30 beats from your resting heart rate to your optimal push heart rate. That's how you're going to know whether or not you're in that space. If it's not there, you haven't lowered it to 30 beats, less than your heightened heart rate, then you're not in full recovery mode. Make sure you get that heart rate down so you can give it that full push back up. But I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys supporting this stream. Please do go over to my page on YouTube at Kara Chris TV, trying to grow that channel up, and hit that subscribe button. And we will be doing the 4-4-4 together starting on the 1st of January. But until then, we're going to be here talking about the truths, the facts, the myths, uncovering all the different layers of the health, beauty, and fitness industry. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Kara Christensen, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Behind the Layers at Kara Chris TV. Till then, have a great day. Workout Wednesday. Get your workout on. See you then. See you next